Hey guys, it's Benjamin Zamish, author of Creating Freedom and the founder of Move, Learn, Create. And welcome back to Thematic Serenity, where I'm helping people to become more receptive to the magic in this life that is available to all of us. So this is episode 28, and we are going to talk about if there is a magic potion for excellence. Is there a key ingredient to creating the phenomenal in life? And how many times have you, I wondered forever, but how many times do you wonder if there really is a secret ingredient that produces the extraordinary? That maybe if you could discover this one thing that seemed to be missing, you would suddenly be empowered to actually give life to the magic in your dreams. How is it that certain people, normal people, just all of a sudden become these prodigious creators of mastery? Just out of nowhere, this phenomenal outpouring of creation takes place within them. What is happening there? How is it that an average person can suddenly transform themselves into, like Robin Sharma says, into a merchant of wow? How can an average person transform into a merchant of wow? That is the question. How does someone turn their unexpressed potential, which we all have inside of us, right? We talk about this all the time. How do they actually make that into a realized offering to then give to the world? And in doing so, transcend our mediocrity, transcend the things that are holding us back, and become a giver, a proliferator of the superb, of the excellent, of those extraordinary things in this life that we celebrate, when they are created and are brought into the world. And it's really hard to go down this line of questioning for very long without kind of catching yourself and thinking that maybe you're looking for a shortcut. Like, are you trying to cheat? I was looking for these answers my whole life. Obsessed with this in my youth. And I know that there were so many times that I either felt like this or was actually told this by some people on certain occasions, that I clearly remember that, Benjamin, you're just looking for a way to cheat. You're looking for a shortcut. You're looking for, this quick and easy, simple by the obstacles and get around challenges, and looking for a shortcut that just doesn't exist. And it's not a completely invalid thought, right? Because we definitely do that. We definitely waste time looking for the easy way out, the overnight success. We celebrate the overnight successes so much, or what appears to us to be an overnight success. And I think we do it, we give it so much attention, because it reinforces this idea that it's possible for us, that we'll get that jackpot that just never comes. But that does not mean that there is nothing missing. Just because it takes hard work and persistence and perseverance to get there. If you haven't seen it, definitely go back and watch the video that I made called This is the Key to Mastery, where we see very clearly that without perseverance, nothing of true genius, nothing of real mastery is ever going to come to life. It just won't. But that doesn't mean that there aren't other missing elements. Maybe we are all just kind of overlooking the things that could make the whole difference for us. A lot of people, so many people, too many people, work very, very hard for a very, very long time. Really give their lives to labor, and they never, in their experience, in their life, they never break through. So what is it? What is it that they are missing? What is the difference maker? And a good place to start is you know that you get what you give. We all know that. You get what you give. This is a universal law that applies to really every part of life in so many different ways. So this is a good place to start. Let's use this as the the starting point for a line of inquiry here. So we're all working, we're all striving, trying to create mastery in our lives in whatever way we experience or define that. We're trying to create the experiences in the world that we want for ourselves and for others, whoever it is that we care about. We're trying to bring ourselves to the place that, where we know what it's like to be a creator of the transcendent, to be who brings about the joyful experiences that we're seeking, to be the one who has transcended the limitation and offered the world the realized manifestations of our dreams by learning essentially how to express our full potential. I mean, that's what we want for all of us. That's the goal. That's what we really mean when we say we want to be excellent. We want to be extraordinary and impact this world. And that's also what we mean if we're just saying, I just want to be a good human being. I just want to be happy. I'm a simple person. I just want to be okay, and I want my family to be okay. We're saying the same thing because that is the reality of this human being, this system within which and through which we operate. That is what the system is seeking. So even if you don't articulate it like that, even if the way I say it seems high flown or that's not for you, ultimately it's the same thing. This is the pursuit of your desire. This is just where it's headed, and these are when I say we have to understand and align ourselves with the fundamental mechanics of creation. This is what we're talking about. You have to acknowledge, you have to be able to perceive and acknowledge the way life is trying to work through you, and the only way you're going to find fulfillment is if you actually do that. So if you get what you give, then what are we giving? What is it that we're putting into our work, into our offerings? What is it that we're putting into our craft in the hopes that from that work and from those offerings, we will actually receive and experience all of these rewards? We've defined already that no matter what, it will take perseverance. We have identified the tools needed to actually follow through with that type of commitment, to align our lives and our efforts with life in such a way that we actually will persist long enough and for the right reasons to see that our goals become not only possible, but actually begin to emerge through us and into the world. And if you haven't taken the Momentum Masterclass yet, it's a free 3-part course. The link is in the description. That is what that course is about. It's how to, in the most simple, most fundamental way, how do you align your system to make these things not only possible, but very natural, to go from seeking and striving to obtain something to turn those goals and dreams and things far beyond what you can now see, to turn those things into a natural outpouring, an unfoldment, an overflowing of what it is that is within you and will be within you once you align your life in that way. But just as important as the duration of our labor, just as important as how long we strive in this way and the consistency of our ministry, whatever that may be, just important as that is the content of what we are doing, the actual content of what we are giving. What constitutes, what we're actually putting into our work? Where is it coming from? What is it made of? This has to be clearly seen, clearly defined for each one of us, and then we have to consciously take control of that process. That is the real difference maker. So the reason that you and I both know countless people who have worked and persisted their whole lives, just like we said, given their lives to labor, just giving everything and have not been given back even a fraction of the return on that investment of their time and energy, not given back any significant degree at all, just not even a fraction of what they're really, really deeply seeking. The reason we've all seen this happen is because, unfortunately for those people, the content of their work, the quality and constitution of their labor, of their craft, what they put into it was flawed. And that's just the reality. And when I say it was flawed, I'm not saying that they didn't do a good job. I'm saying that it wasn't connected with their true nature. The flaw is putting our energy and effort into something in a way that is not connected with our true nature. Because if the only thing we can give is ourselves. So if we're giving something that is out of line with what and who we truly are, we're not actually giving anything, and we will be rewarded in kind, and we will not receive what it is that we feel that we deserve for our efforts. So it is not only necessary that you give and give and give and give, that you strive and persist. It's absolutely vital that while you do so, you also constantly, relentlessly, I never stop talking about this and I never will, you have to cultivate the clarity needed to ensure that the content of your offering, the content of what it is that you are giving, is aligned with your true nature, your higher self, is actually an unfoldment of you as you walk the path into the becoming of what it is that your desire is truly seeking. This is fundamentally necessary for every human being. It's the only way forward. It's the only way to actually progress and not continuously just go in this loop over and over again. And it's the only way to see that truly in the end your labors will not be in vain. I mean, the old adage that it's not the destination, it's the journey, right? Well, that's true, but it's only going to be true for you if you are living and striving in such a way that your labors are absolutely with that true nature, with what is deep inside of you. If you're not truly in line with what the life inside you is actually seeking, then this is not, it's never going to be true for you that it's about the destination, or that it's about the journey and not the destination. It will always for you be about the destination. And unfortunately, that can never lead to true fulfillment. That is not how this whole thing works that we're involved in. And how many people can honestly say that for them it is about the journey and not about the destination? I mean, hardly any. It's like, give me a break. We don't live this way, unfortunately. Even if we think, most of us, even if we think that, it's really about the journey, really what we're doing is we've just defined the journey as moving from one destination to the next. And when we really look at what we're doing here, we're striving for a destination, it's a letdown. We strive for the next destination, it's a letdown. We strive for the next destination, it's a letdown. So we reach checkpoints and we're able to have small celebrations, which at least there's movement and there's progress. But it's not the type of experience that I'm referring to when I'm talking about the freedom and the salvation that is available for each one of you. It's like, we have to go out on the weekends and celebrate for these few hours that we can convince ourselves that our sacrifice was worth it. And it's really just the rare few among us that we see and that we hopefully are looking up to and learning from and appreciating that they have the intelligence to develop the right perspective and to ensure that their lives are not lived this way, that we don't make this mistake, that we don't allow ourselves to misdefine what it is that we're actually doing. Because if we allow ourselves to do that, then in the end, the sum of our efforts, when that's all added up, it will not be given back to us the way we expect. It will be negated by the emptiness of this colossal defeat that occurs when you get to the end and you realize that you mismanaged your time. You mishandled, your time and your energy, and your efforts were not, they were flawed. They were not in line with what this life was actually seeking. So it's the rare few who actually receive from this life what we are all seeking. It's the rare few for whom the journey is the celebration and not the sacrifice. The journey should not be a sacrifice. It should be the constant celebration. So what is the difference? What is the missing piece? What is the marker, by which we may know that we're actually on the right path? And in a word, it's passion. The answer is passion. I mean, you have built within your physiology, in your very physical system, you have this system by which your being is able to communicate to you whether or not your efforts are being made in vain. And the simplest way to understand this feedback mechanism that you can experience is found in the word passion. It's really so simple. It's so basic and clear. You just ask yourself, you just simply ask yourself every single day, is what I'm doing fueling my fervor for life? Are my efforts in themselves igniting the fire in my spirit? Are the efforts in themselves, not what it is that we're holding on to as the reward for our efforts, but are the efforts that we're making in and of themselves, are they igniting the fire in our spirit? Does my work increase the intensity with which I engage with this life that I've been blessed with? Does my work, my very work, increase the intensity with which I engage with life? So what am I saying? Well, if your work leaves you depleted, where you have to seek work-life balance and recover from in these things, then you cannot answer yes to this question. Does my mission magnify my devotion? Does my mission magnify my devotion? What is it that you're devoted to? And what is your mission, to honor that object of your devotion? Well, does your mission, does your endeavors, your efforts, your offerings, that purpose, does that in itself magnify your devotion? Are you getting closer to the thing, the thing that is most important to you? And do my labors amplify my affection? Do my labors amplify my affection? Am I becoming more loving? Am I becoming more inclusive? Is my embrace that I offer the world getting wider and wider and wider as I work more and more and more? Ask this question. Because you have to know this. This has to be a yes. It just has to be a yes. And does my focus fuel my passion? Does my focus fuel my passion? What is it that you're focused on? Are you giving your attention to distraction because your focus is being drawn to things that are not fueling your passion? Or does your very focus, your very attention fuel and ignite your passion? Is it like this, the snowball of fire that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger the harder you work? And this is it. That's it. That's the checklist. That's all you need to know. I actually only spent all that time setting this video up like this because if I had just made an 8-minute video where I asked those questions and everything, you would approach it like another motivational video, and like the time spent watching motivational videos, this time with me would have been a waste of time, because you just have to put it in the right context. You have to understand how serious this is. This needs your attention. This requires work. You have to actually be diligent and ingrain this perspective and this understanding into your being, because this is real. This is not true for some people and untrue for others. This is not a subjective truth. This is not a perspective that serves some people and doesn't serve others. This is how life functions through this system. It's absolutely, invaluable, vitally important. And it's a part of how your system is actually functioning as in this symphony of creation, like a universal effort, a universal conspiracy to ensure that your potential it becomes expressed, that this possibility within you does not go unfulfilled. It's how life is trying to push you. It's a great blessing. It might sound like a challenge right now because we allowed ourselves to, get behind it, to get behind the momentum. So it feels like we have to catch up and that we have all this inertia in the system and these limitations to overcome. And that's true. We do have those things. But ultimately, this is a beautiful, unimaginably, magical reality of the life that we're a part of, and this is how your desires enter that state of perpetual fulfillment that that I can't stop talking about. This passion, those questions that I asked, this is the yardstick by which you may continuously measure the impact and the value of your efforts. It's just that simple. This is the scale, with which you have been empowered to measure how much of your very life is being wasted, or how much of your life is being honored, being celebrated, being lived to its fullest. It's such a simple method, and it's so easily accessible for all of us. You just ask yourself the questions, and then be honest with yourself when you answer, and you will answer. Just in asking the question, the answer will happen as you ask it. And don't ignore it. Don't look the other way, but act accordingly. Have the wisdom, have the maturity to act accordingly. Begin to strive, set out on the journey, take, some tools and take some courses, take my free courses, go find someone else and take their free courses. Do something and begin to create some momentum going in this direction so that you can answer these questions in the way that will, acknowledge to you and offer you the incredible fulfillment and the clarity and the security of knowing that indeed your life is moving in a direction that will not leave you as a wasted possibility. So do that, and in the end, you're going to be able to look back at this beautiful time that you've spent here, and you will be able to say with total authority that yes, there is a secret ingredient for excellence, and that truly passion is the elixir of excellence. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for spending this time with me. I will be back next week with another one. In the meantime, make sure, like I said, you go in the description for the video or go over to themanicserenity.com. There's a bunch of incredible resources for you. Download the free book. Take the free Creating Freedom mini course that goes along with that book. If you haven't taken the Momentum Masterclass yet, do that right away. And I will continue working on more resources for you, and I will see you next week. Thank you.